Hello and welcome to the MA's review of the week. The Morning Advertiser's head Bedington, and with me today I have the fantastic chef and pub owner and restaurant owner, Adam Hanling. Good morning, Adam.
Morning.
So, Adam, how's trade with you guys at the moment? How's business?
Over the 6 operations that we have in our collection, the number one top performer is Loch and Tyne, the Windsor gastropub. It's outshined revenue in comparison to, say, the Frog, which has actually been the first time in history that for multiple weeks in a row, the highest revenue earner in our collection is a pub rather than our Michelin-starred restaurants.
Amazing. I mean, it's heartening as the editor of the Morning Advertiser to hear that, but obviously you want all your businesses to be firing on all cylinders. I mean, let's get into a bit of that. I mean, but what's caught your eye this week? We've discussed some of these before. You mentioned Easter. What's caught your eye over Easter?
I think the one of the ones is Easter. I worked in Loch and Tyne for this time, so I got to experience it. But 30 million pints were sold over Easter in rural pubs, which I think is absolutely incredible. And I just think when it comes to holidays, people are still drinking and supporting pubs massively. You know, the restaurants kind of fizzled out a little bit, and it's more of a casual family getting together and enjoying life. I know I certainly did it with my family when they came to see me. But being in Loch and Tyne, I felt the real buzz and the real demand for being in these sort of environments. I thought it was beautiful.
I guess it is. There's a more of a relaxed approach to pubs, isn't there? They're less formality to it.
Of course, and more. I would say more family. I think pubs give that real beautiful connection of family. Your aunties, your uncles, your kids, your grandmother. Everyone could be around in one specific area and feel like they're at home and doing something which I really love. British.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There's other good news about the pubs this week. The report on the social value, the amount that pubs put back into the economy. Tell us a bit about that.
I think with especially rural pubs, putting in like 1.3 million pounds into the local economies, the value of that is really incredible because it's all about bringing small businesses together. You know, forget the capital out of the way because it has such a massive footfall. But in rural areas, you've got supporting the families that are in there for jobs. It's for bringing other small businesses together, and in terms of where they'll eat and drink and have their meetings. And I just think that real community hub of what a pub is in a rural area isn't quite looked at such an important light as what it is.
We don't seem to get that recognition, do we? And the good work that pubs do, and we talk about it as a trade a lot. And I think the story you're referring to is the data or the report that Punch put out recently as well. I mean, why do we not resonate? We talk about it, but why do you think we don't get it out there into the public and maybe more the political conscience?
I think that's a two-part one there. I think that perhaps the history of what a pub was, full of drink, and that was all it was. It was designed in that aspect. But what it is now is completely different. You've got food-led. Lots of them are very food-led oriented. They're a lot more safer than they were 100 years ago, for example. I don't know why people don't think that a part of a village, apart from a little town, the main community hub is a pub, and it doesn't have the recognition. Why? I have no idea, but I think it should change.
Absolutely. And you mentioned food there. There's been some news on food-led pubs. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So food-led pubs are outperforming drink-led pubs, which is I would like both to do well, but I have 2 food-led pubs, and I've noticed from when I first opened my first one 5 years ago to now, the demand is unbelievable. But also the drinking culture has died down slightly. I've noticed that the drinking culture in our pubs only becomes very good when it comes to holiday season, when the whole family are together. But as a day-to-day business operator, if you have a really good food offering, people will come in abundance, but drink a lot less than what they did before, or if it was a holiday. And I think really concentrating on a food menu of what a pub has is the only way that you can keep it afloat in this day and age, especially with a lot of people not wanting to drink unless it is a special occasion, or even as much unless it's a special occasion.
I mean, it's interesting because it seems to be cyclical. We sort of see this wax and wane. We see the food pubs rise, the wet leads drop off, and then more recently we saw wet leads pubs coming back. But once upon a time we were talking about the death of the wet lead pub. But it seems to have kind of found a bit more balance now. But that's interesting that food is back at the fore.
Yeah, I think midway week, the pubs that are the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday open, I think they're the areas that need to be encapsulated by a food menu more than anything else, because people are a little bit more conscious about what they're doing or what they're adding to their body. So they might still go for 1 or 2 pints, but they're not going to be like they did in abundance. And also a lot of people have to work a lot more, so they don't have the time to go to the pubs. So bringing in that lunch trade where you can bring a food menu attached to something brings footfall in on their midweek times.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Well, we're out of time, Adam, but thank you for those thoughts.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, there you go. Some interesting stats there. Interesting to see food-led pubs back in a resurgence. We will be back next week with more thoughts on the week's news. Till then, trade well.